The 65th session of the Senate in the first regular session of the 16th Congress is hereby called to order. Senator Grace Poe will lead the chamber in prayer.
Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Panginoon ng liwanag, Panginoon ng pag-ibig, lukubin mo ang aming kapulungan, buksan mo ang aming isipan, buksan mo ang aming kalooban. Linawin mo ang katotohanan, ipakilala mo sa amin ang mabubuti ang hangarin. Sa tama man o pagkakamali, ipakita mo ang aral sa amin. Ngayong buwan ng kababaihan, higit na pagpapala nawa ang inyong ibigay sa mga babae ng aming kapulungan. Bigyan po ninyo kami ng malusog na katawan at isipan upang makapagsilbi kami sa bayan nang di napapabayaan ang aming tahanan. Gabayan po ninyo kaming lahat sa paglikha ng batas na magsusulong ng paggalang sa karapatan at pagiging patas. Sa lahat ng aming gawa, sa lahat ng aming salita, gawin mo kaming kasangkapan, Panginoon, sa paglikha ng mundong mapayapa. Amen. Ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo.
The Secretary will call the roll.
Roll call of members. The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, Cayetano Alan Peter Compañero S., Cayetano Pia S., Defensor Santiago, Ejercito, Enrile, Escudero, Estrada, Gingona, Honasan, Lapid, Ligarda, Marcos, Osmeña, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Revilla, Soto, Trillanes, Villar, the Senate President Rilo.
21 senators are present. The chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, and to our dear colleagues. Mr. President, I move that we dispense with the reading of the Journal of the 64th Session, March 11, 2014, and consider the same as approved.
Any objection? Hearing none, the reading of the Journal of Session number 64, Tuesday, March 11, 2014 is dispensed with, and the same is hereby approved.
Mr. President, may we welcome to the Senate students of Philippine Normal University, headed by Mr. Dionisio Rivas. May I ask them to stand to be recognized?
We welcome the students of Philippine Normal University, Manila, headed by Dr. Dionisio Rivas.
Mr. President, we also have students of Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Manila, studying BS Computer Engineering. May I ask them also to rise to be recognized?
We make the presence of the students of the Polytechnic University of the Philippines of record and welcome them to the Senate.
Mr. President, we have students of the Rizal Technological University from the Political Science Department, headed by Professor Jeremiah Paser. May I ask them to rise to be recognized?
We welcome the students of the Rizal Technological University, AB Political Science, under Professor Jeremiah Paser.
Mr. President, we have students of Angeles University Foundation from the Education Department, headed by Dr. Trinidad D. Dizon and Grace Bada. May I ask them to rise to be recognized?
The students of the Angeles University Foundation with Dr. Trinidad Dizon and Miss Grace Bada are welcome to the Senate.
Mr. President, Senator Pia Cayetano also has some guests in the gallery. May she ask to be recognized for a short manifestation?
Senator Pia Cayetano is recognized.
Thank you. Mr. President, last March 3, I had the opportunity to deliver a speech to honor empowered Filipinas in celebration of Women's Month. Today, allow me to introduce another empowered Filipina, Miss Jessica Macabares Cox, who is in the VIP gallery behind me. I'll ask her to stand. Mr. President, Miss Cox is a Filipina-American who traces her roots to Giwan Samar. In fact, she came to the Philippines to conduct relief operations in Eastern Visayas. Jessica was born without arms due to a rare birth defect. She used to be on prosthetic arms, but when she turned 14, she decided to accept her faith and stop using her prosthetic arms and has since been using her feet. Jessica holds the Guinness World Records 2014 as the first woman to fly an airplane with her feet. She's also the first armless person with a black belt in the American Taekwondo Association. Men beware. And a certified scuba diver, among many others. This is not really a privileged speech, so I will not list all her accomplishments here. But Mr. President, we just wanted to acknowledge her because her feats are truly an inspiration to everyone. Whether able, differently abled, woman or man, this woman excels and is a true inspiration. She indeed is an empowered Filipina who should serve as a role model for the women and the youth. Thank you, Mr. President. With her is her brother and her husband. We welcome them to the Senate, Mr. President.
The Senate welcomes officially Miss Jessica Cox and congratulate her for her accomplishment in life. Welcome to the Senate, Miss Cox.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we proceed with the reference of business.
The Secretary will read the reference of business.
Bill on first reading, Senate Bill number 2167, an act amending Section 47 of Republic Act number 9136, otherwise known as the Electric Power Industry Reform Act, introduced by Senator Escudero.
Committees on Energy and Public Services.
Resolutions, proposed Senate Resolution number 563, directing the appropriate Senate committees to conduct an investigation in aid of legislation on the issuance of BIR Revenue Memorandum Circular number 72014 to clarify issues on the taxation and compliance requirements of marginal income earners pursuant to Revenue Regulation 7/2012 and Revenue Regulation 11-2000 by Senator Paulo Benigno Bam Aquino IV.
Committee on Ways and Means.
564, directing the Committee on Trade, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship to conduct an investigation in aid of legislation on the alleged proliferation of uncertified and substandard steel products and the rampant smuggling of imported steel products with the end view of amending provisions of Republic Act Number 7103, otherwise known as the Iron and Steel Industry Act, and other pertinent laws by Senator Paulo Benigno Bam Aquino IV.
Trade, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship.
Additional reference to business bills on first reading. Senate Bill number 2168, an act requiring mandatory installation of closed-circuit televisions, CCTV cameras on roads, including in roads of public utility vehicles and for other purposes, by Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito.
Committees on Local Governments, Public Works, and Finance.
2169, an act establishing a voluntary student loan program by private banks providing incentives therefore and for other purposes, by Senator Sonny Angara.
Banks, financial institutions, currencies, government corporations, public enterprises, ways and means.
2170, an act designating Philippine National Performing Arts companies, defining their roles and functions as such, and appropriating funds therefore, by Senator Ligarda.
Education, Arts and Culture, Ways and Means, Finance.
2171, an act amending Article 1898 of Republic Act Number 386, otherwise known as the New Civil Code of the Philippines, by Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy S. Binay.
Banks, financial institutions, currencies.
2172, an act clarifying the procedure for application for tax treaty relief, amending for the purpose Republic Act Number 8424 as amended, otherwise known as the Tax Reform Act of 1997, by Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy S. Binay.
Committee on Banks, Committee on Ways and Means.
2173, an act clarifying the rule on imposition of interest on obligations consisting of loan or forbearance of money, by Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy S. Binay.
Banks, financial institutions, and currencies.
2174, an act transferring the jurisdiction of criminal cases arising from violations of commercial laws to special commercial courts, by Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy S. Binay.
Justice and Human Rights.
2175, an act clarifying the requirements for engaging in activities covered by the Secondary Purpose Clause of Corporations, amending Batas Pambansa Bilang 68, otherwise known as the Corporation Code of the Philippines, by Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy S. Binay.
Trade, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship.
Resolution, Senate Joint Resolution Number 7, Resolution declaring 27 July 2014 as special non-working holiday to commemorate the founding anniversary of the Iglesia ni Cristo, by Senator Drillo.
Committee on Education, Arts, and Culture.
Second, additional reference to business messages from the House of Representatives. Letter from the Secretary General of the House informing the Senate that on 10 March 2014, the House of Representatives passed the following House bills / House Joint Resolution, in which it requests the concurrence of the Senate. House Bill Number 31, an act increasing the bed capacity of the Northern Mindanao Medical Center in Cagayan de Oro City, amending for the purpose Republic Act Number 7938, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes.
Committee on Health and Demography, Finance.
103, an act declaring June 23 of every year as a special non-working holiday in the city of Bacoor to commemorate its anniversary as a city.
Local Government.
House Bill Number 269, an act upgrading the service capacity of the Florencio V. Bernabe Senior Memorial Hospital in the city of Parañaque, Metro Manila, from a first level to second level community hospital and appropriating funds therefore.
Health and Demography, Finance.
House Bill Number 440, an act changing the name of Baybay Elementary School in Barangay San Manuel Sur, Municipality of Baguio, Province of La Union, to San Manuel Sur Elementary School.
Arts and Culture.
2072, an act declaring malunggay, moringa, as the national vegetable of the Philippines in the month of November of every year as the National Malunggay Month.
Education, Arts and Culture.
2096, an act establishing a public hospital in the city of Baykawayan, province of Bulacan.
Health and Demography, Finance.
House Bill 2097, an act establishing a public hospital in the municipality of Bubando, province of Bulacan, and appropriating funds therefor.
Health and Demography, Finance.
House Bill number 2098, an act establishing a public hospital in the municipality of Marilao, province of Bulacan, and appropriating funds therefor.
Health and Demography, Finance.
2384, an act amending Article 75 of Title 4 of Executive Order number 209 as amended by Executive Order number 227, otherwise known as the Family Code of the Philippines.
Committee on Women, Family Relations, Gender Equality.
2609, an act changing the name of Taisan National High School in Barangay Taisan, Municipality of San Jose, Province of Batangas, to Dr. Danilo Andal Perez National High School.
Arts and Culture.
House Bill number 3154, an act converting the Andres Bonifacio Elementary School in Barangay Halandoni, Wilson City Proper District, Iloilo City, into an integrated school to be known as Andres Bonifacio Integrated School.
Education, Arts and Culture.
3219, an act separating the corner Central National High School, Talifugo Annex, and Barangay Talifugo Municipality of Conner, Province of Apayao, from the Conner Central National High School, converting it into an independent National Technical Vocational High School to be known as Talifugo National Agricultural and Trade High School, and appropriating funds therefor.
Refer to the Committees on Education, Arts and Culture, Finance.
House Bill number 3220, an act separating the P.U. Dalim Memorial School of Arts and Trades, Tanglagan Annex, and Barangay Tanglagan, Municipality of Calanasan, Province of Apayao, from the P.U. Dalim Memorial School of Arts and Trades, converting it into independent National Technical Vocational High School to be known as Tanglagan National Agricultural and Trade High School, and appropriating funds therefor.
Education, Arts and Culture, Finance.
House Bill number 3222, an act separating the Conner Central National High School, Cupis Annex 2, and Barangay Cupis, Municipality of Conner, Province of Apayao, from the Conner Central National High School, converting it into independent National Technical Vocational High School to be known as Cupis National Agricultural and Trade High School, and appropriating funds therefor.
Education, Arts and Culture, Finance.
3223, an act separating the Conner Central National High School, Ili Annex 4, and Barangay Ili, Municipality of Conner, Province of Apayao, from the Conner Central National High School, converting it into independent National Technical Vocational High School to be known as Ili School of Arts and Trades, and appropriating funds therefor.
Arts and Culture, Finance.
3232, an act separating the Cabugao Agro-Industrial High School, Lening Annex, and Barangay Lening, Municipality of Cabugao, Province of Apayao, from the Cabugao Agro-Industrial High School, converting it into independent National High School to be known as Cabugao National High School, and appropriating funds therefor.
Education, Arts and Culture, Finance.
3233, an act separating the Santa Marcela National High School, Consuelo Annex, and Barangay Consuelo, Municipality of Santa Marcela, Province of Apayao, from the Santa Marcela National High School, converting it into independent National High School to be known as Consuelo National High School, and appropriating funds therefor.
Education, Arts and Culture, Finance.
3959, an act declaring October 16 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Calbayog in commemoration of its founding anniversary to be known as Calbayog City Charter Day.
Local Government.
3960, an act declaring August 25 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Iloilo in celebration of the Iloilo City Charter Day.
Local Government.
3961, an act declaring May 22 of every year a special non-working holiday in the province of Guimaras in commemoration of its anniversary as a province.
Local Government.
3962, an act declaring April 16 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Marikina in commemoration of its founding anniversary to be known as Marikina City Day.
Local Governments.
3963, an act declaring November 22 of every year a special non-working holiday in the province of Sultan Kudarat in commemoration of its foundation anniversary.
Local Governments.
3964, an act declaring March 9 of every year a special non-working holiday in the province of Abra in commemoration of its foundation anniversary and the culmination of Abrenian Kawayan Festival.
Local Governments.
House Bill number 3965, an act declaring August 25 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Gapan, province of Nueva Ecija.
Local Government.
3966, an act declaring March 24 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Ligao, province of Albay, in commemoration of its founding anniversary.
Local governments.
3967, an act declaring July 23 every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Batangas to be known as Batangas City Foundation Day.
Local government.
3968, an act declaring June 21 of every year a special non-working holiday in Tagaytay City, province of Cavite, in commemoration of its Foundation Day to be known as Charter Day of Tagaytay City or Araw ng Lungsod ng Tagaytay.
Local governments.
House Bill 3969, an act declaring June 30 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Imus, province of Cavite, in commemoration of its founding anniversary.
Local governments.
3973, an act declaring September 29 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Bacoor, province of Cavite, in commemoration of the Araw ng Bacoor.
Local governments.
House Bill number 4000, an act strengthening the regulation of health facilities and services in the Philippines, repealing for the purpose Republic Act number 4226, otherwise known as the Hospital Licensure Act, and for other purposes.
Health and demography.
4006, an act providing for a new passport law, repealing for the purpose Republic Act numbered 8239, otherwise known as the Philippine Passport Act of 1996.
Foreign relations.
House Bill number 4008, an act changing the name of Mahinog National High School in Barangay Hubangon, Municipality of Mahinog, Province of Camigan, to 62 Abao National High School.
Education, arts, and culture.
4009, an act changing the name of Savirona Elementary School in Barangay Savirona, Municipality of Talugtug, Province of Nueva Ecija, to Alberto G. Bautista Elementary School.
Education, arts, and culture.
4010, an act changing the name of Central Taytay National High School in Barangay Poblacion, Municipality of Taytay, Province of Palawan, to Judge Cesar L. Rodriguez National High School.
Education, arts, and culture.
4011, an act changing the name of Bantayan National High School in Barangay Tikad, Municipality of Bantayan, Province of Cebu, to Remedios Abelio Escario National High School.
Education, arts, and culture.
4084, an act granting Philippine citizenship to Andrei Blache.
Justice and human rights.
And House Joint Resolution number 12, Joint Resolution declaring 27 July 2014 a special non-working holiday to commemorate the founding anniversary of the Iglesia ni Cristo.
Education, arts, and culture.
Letter from the Speaker of the House of Representatives designating Representatives Garcia Albano, Binay del Rosario, Alvarez, and Puentevella as House members to the Joint Congressional Oversight Committee on Ecological Solid Waste Management.
Committee on Rules.
Third additional reference to business, message from the House of Representatives, letter from the Speaker designating Representatives Espina, Yap, Lagman, Aumentado, and Hiccup as House members of the Congressional Oversight Committee on the Responsible Parenthood and Reproductive Health Act.
Committee on Rules.
Resolution, Senate Joint Resolution number 8 entitled Joint Resolution declaring 27 July 2014 a special non-working holiday to commemorate the founding anniversary of the Iglesia ni Cristo.
Education, arts, and culture.
What double tayo?
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, I move that we recognize Senator Estrada. He asked to be recognized on a question of personal and collective privilege.
Senator Estrada is recognized on a question of personal and collective privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ginoong Pangulo, distinguished colleagues of this august chamber, mga kababayan ko, lalong-lalo na po ang masang Pilipino, magandang hapon po. I rise today on a matter of personal privilege. I rise to denounce the continuing trial by publicity being made against this representation and two of our colleagues. Mr. President, Ever since the PDAF controversy hit the headlines in July last year, we have been vilified and depicted, Mr. President, as the epitome and personification of corrupt public officials in their desire to convict us before the bar of public opinion. I, along with Senators Enrile and Revilla, have borne the brunt of the public's ire and disgust after being condemned as thieves and plunderers of the people's money. Mr. President, trial by publicity violates the constitutional guarantees of due process and presumption of innocence. We therefore deplore, Mr. President, the continuous distortions and prevarications of facts from supposed witnesses recruited by the Department of Justice to support its case. We express apprehension over polluted and self-serving testimonies of proposed state witnesses with questionable integrity and credibility. Mr. President, the latest addition to this array of witnesses against us is the new darling of the Department of Justice, Mr. Dennis Lacson Cunanan, who obviously gave false testimony during the hearing of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee last Thursday. He should have been held in contempt for lying over and over and over again under oath before the committee. I rise today, Mr. President, to expose and bring to the public's attention the questionable character of this latest witness of the Department of Justice, Mr. Dennis Cunanan, as well as Mrs. Ruby Tuason, to alert us of their dubious backgrounds and shady dealings. It may be instructive for the DOJ so that it may redeem itself from sloppy and amateurish investigation of the witnesses it presents in support of what it proclaims as its supposed airtight case. Mr. President, who is Dennis Cunanan, who has been so bold to lie so brazenly to avoid criminal liability? Bakit napakalakas na loob niyang magsinungaling sa Blue Ribbon Committee? May hawak ba siyang mapanirang impormasyon laban sa ilang makapangyarihang tao? Kaya tinanggap siya kaagad bilang provisional witness sa ilalim ng Witness Protection Program ng DOJ? May pinoprotektahan ba itong si Dennis Cunanan? At sino ang mahiwagang kamay na nagpapagalaw kay Cunanan upang ang bukod tanging mga pangalan na kanyang babanggitin ay si Estrada, Revilla at Enrile? Sinabi ni Dennis Cunanan na pamilyar siya sa aking boses, na para bang close kami. Kaya minabuti kong mas kilalanin itong si Dennis Cunanan o Deku para sa kanyang malalapit na kaibigan. Si Dennis Cunanan ay ipinanganak noong Nobyembre 14, 1971 sa Angeles, Pampanga. Siya ay may asawa at may 4 na anak na nagsisipag-aral lahat sa eksklusibong paaralan. Simula noong 2007, itinala niya sa mga dokumento ang address na 126 San Nicolas, Magalang, Pampanga. Sinabi kong simula lamang 2007 dahil bago ang taong yun, si Dennis at ang kanyang pamilya ay nangungupahan lamang sa Quezon City, B5 Verde Royal Townhouses, Pluto Street, Quezon City mula taong 2000 hanggang 2004. At sa Pasig naman, sa Unit 7, San Miguel Court, Valle Verde 5, Pasig City, simula taong 2005 hanggang lumipat sa White Plains, ng 2007. Ginoong Pangulo, hindi ba nakakapagtaka na hindi niya binabanggit ang kanyang malapalasyong tahanan sa White Plains, Quezon City? Yan po, nasa screen. Nang lumabas sa balita, sa mga telebisyon, ang tungkol sa bahay na ito, at saka lamang niya naalala at sinabing, nangungupahan lang po ako dyan at sa kapatid ko po yan. Napakabait naman itong kapatid ni Dennis. Bumili ng mamahaling bahay at lupa sa isang prestihiyosong subdivision para lamang tumira ay si Dennis, samantalang yung kapatid niya at ang kanyang pamilya ay sa Pampanga. Abay, napakaswerte ni Dennis na kapatid. Di po ba? Sana meron din akong kapatid na kasing bait na kapatid ni Dennis. Ang mabait at nakababatang kapatid ni Dennis
Wala ba? Wala ba? Wala ba?
ay si Darius Cunanan. Ayon sa mga pahayag ni Dennis sa Blue Ribbon, businessman daw itong si Darius at may kakayahan na bumili ng mamahaling ari-arian. Yun ang Pangulo. Sa dokumento aking nakalap, tanging 2007 nang nabili ang bahay at lupa sa White Plains sa halagang 12 milyong piso. Nandiyan po ang deed of sale. Sa deed of sale, si Darius nga at ang kanyang asawa ang bumili ng bahay. Ngunit, may sapat nga ba siyang kakayahan na bumili ng ganitong kamahal na ari-arian? Ginoong Pangulo, sa nakuha ko pong tala ng mga income tax ni Darius noong 2007, ayan po, sinasabing wala siyang compensation income. At ang tanging income niya nung taong yun ay mula sa negosyo at ito ay humigit kumulang na 104,668 pesos and 98 centavos. Ibig niyo sabihin 104,000 lang po ang kita. Tapos kaya niyang bumili ng bahay na naghahalagang 12 milyong piso? Mukhang imposible po yata yan. Sa nakaraang pagdinig, Ginoong Pangulo, sinabi ni Dennis na nag-apply daw sa bangko ng loan ang kanyang kapatid. At hanggang ngayon nga daw ay may binabayaran pa sa bangko. Okay. Ang deed of sale sa bahay at lupa ay may petsang June 11, 2007. Katulad nga ng sinabi ko, cash po itong binayaran. Ang loan naman po sa bangko na sinasabi ni Dennis ay may petsang June 21, 2007. 10 days after nung na-purchase po yung bahay. Tama, may loan po, pero hindi para sa bahay. Ang loan ay para maitayo ang trading company nila na nagngangalang Magalang Ciudad Enterprises Incorporated noong August of 2007, kung saan si Dennis ay majority shareholder. Ginamit lamang na collateral sa bangko ang bahay. Kaya po na-approve ang loan ay dahil hindi dahil may kapasidad si Darius, ngunit dahil ginamit na collateral ang bahay. Mr. President, given all these facts, is Darius Cunanan or Dennis Cunanan the real owner of the White Plains property? You can make your own conclusion. Mr. President, Dennis Cunanan lied brazenly about his educational background. Sa blog site po ni Dennis at sa maraming write-up patungkol sa kanya, lumalabas o kanyang pinalabas na sa UP Diliman siya nakapagtapos ng kolehiyo sa kursong Public Administration. Just to set the educational record of Dennis Cunanan straight, he is not a graduate of the University of the Philippines per the letter of the National College of Public Administration and Governance of UP Diliman in response to our query regarding the academic standing of Mr. Cunanan. He graduated in 2005 in Lacson College. Itinalaga si Dennis Cunanan bilang Executive Director ng National Youth Commission noong taong 2000. At noong taong 2001 hanggang 2004, naging Head Executive Assistant si Dennis sa Office of the Speaker at the House of Representatives. Palagay ko po, kung nalaman na hindi college graduate si Cunanan, ay hindi siya malalagay sa mga posisyong ito. Pagkatapos po magtrabaho sa House of Representatives, nanilbihan ng ilang buwan si Cunanan bilang Presidential Assistant for Youth Affairs sa termino ni Ginang Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. Napag-alaman ko po na sa loob lamang ng ilang buwan bilang Presidential Assistant for Youth Affairs, nakapag-cash advance po si Dennis noong 2004 ng 6,417,684.78. At alam nyo ba na hanggang sa oras na ito, mula nung taong 2004, meron pa siyang outstanding and unliquidated cash advance na umaabot sa 4.6 million sa Office of the President. Hindi ko na po pinalagay sa PowerPoint, pero hawak ko pong mga dokumento na papatunay na hanggang ngayon, 10 taon na mula Marso hanggang 2004, hanggang Marso ng 2014, meron siyang unliquidated cash advance na nagkakahalaga ng 4,675,240. Ano kaya ang ginawa niya sa cash advance na ito? Idinagdag sa pambili ng bahay sa White Plains? Bago napunta ng TRC si Dennis, nahirang muna siyang Executive Director ng CHED ng 1 buwan at tinanggal dahil walang college degree at hindi nga qualified. Ngunit sadyang malakas ang backer ni Dennis dahil na-appoint naman siya kaagad bilang TLRC or TRC Deputy Director General noong December 2004. At taong 2010 naman, naging TRC Director General sa ilalim ng administrasyon ni Pangulong Noynoy Aquino. Ginoong Pangulo, habang nasa gobyerno po si Cunanan, naging aktibo po siya sa JCs. Binanggit ko po dahil matatandaan na noong nakarang pandinig, natanong si Ginoong Cunanan patungkol sa kanyang mga biyahe sa ibang bansa at sinabi niya, siya ay nagbabiyahe bilang opisyal ng Junior Chamber International or JCs at ang mga ibang biyaheng yun ay suportado ng JCs. JCs daw po ang sponsor at ang mga biyahe ay nangyayari on a weekend ayon sa kanya. Pati ba naman ang JCs ay ginagamit niya sa kanyang pagsisinungaling? Ginoong Pangulo, bago pa man ang pagdinig, nabalitaan ko na po na jet setter itong si Mr. Dennis Cunanan. Thus, I requested the Bureau of Immigration for information on his travels. And lo and behold, ginagawa pong kiyapo ni Cunanan at ng kanyang asawa, pati ang kanyang mga anak, ang Amerika. Ayan, pupunta siya sa Amerika. Europa at mga bansa sa Asia tulad ng Japan, Singapore, Thailand, Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, Korea, at mga iba pang lugar sa Europa. Base po sa record na aking nakuha, narito ang tala kung gaano kadaming beses nagbiyahe si Cunanan kasama ang kanyang asawa at mga anak sa labas ng bansa. 2013, makikita niyo po sa screen, 12 beses. 9 na beses, nakasama ang kanyang asawa. 2012, 12 beses, 10 beses, kasama ang kanyang asawa. 2011, 14 na beses, 9 na beses, kasama po ang kanyang asawa. 2010, 5 beses, at 4 na beses, kasama ang kanyang asawa. 2009, 10 beses. Wala na po ako impormasyon kung kasama po yung kanyang asawa. 10 beses po siya bumiyahe ng 2009. 2008, 14 na beses siya bumiyahe. 2007, 8 beses. 2006, 5 beses. At 2005, 1 beses. 2004, 2 beses. Lumalabas po na sa loob ng 10 taon na nasa TRC si Dennis Cunanan, nagbiyahe po siya ng humigit kumulang na 80 beses. 80 times, Mr. President. Kahit sinong senador sa atin ay hindi makakapagbiyahe ng 80 beses sa loob ng 10 taon, Ginoong Pangulo. Ngunit itong si Cunanan, TRC Director General o TRC Deputy Director General, nakakapagbiyahe ng 80 beses, and the record will speak for itself. At ang mas kamangha-mangha dito, Ginoong Pangulo, ang mga biyahe niya, kundi raw first class, ay business class. At hindi lamang tumatagal ng 3 o 4 o 5 araw to. At hindi lamang po on weekends, katulad ng sinabi niya. Dahil merong tumatagal siya sa isang biyahe na 2 linggo, 3 linggo, at may mga biyahe pa na tumatagal ng 1 buwan, katulad nung nakalagay dyan. Umalis siya September 9, 2007, at 2007, bumalik siya October 3. Northwest Airlines ginamit niya, papuntang Tokyo. Siguradong may connecting flight yan, papunta sa Amerika. Lahat ba ho ito? Suportado ng JCs? Napakasarap naman ang buhay nito si Dennis Cunanan, di po ba? Mataas ang posisyon sa gobyerno kahit hindi qualified. Sumisweldo buwan-buwan kahit madalas na wala siya sa opisina. Papirma-pirma ng mga dokumento, sinasabi niya ministerial pag may oras. At liwaliw ng ilang linggo o mahigit 1 buwan sa iba't ibang sulok ng mundo, kasama pa ang pamilya. Ginoong Pangulo, hindi po ata sinusuportahan ni Dennis ang programang pangturismo ng ating gobyerno. Dahil sa dalas niyang nasa labas ng Pilipinas, isipin mo nga naman na para kay Dennis mukhang it's more fun outside the Philippines. Ngayon, bigyan po natin ng atensyon ang pahayag ni Mr. Cunanan na ako raw ay kanyang nakausap. Ginoong Pangulo, sasabihin ko lang po muli, hindi kami nagkausap at wala ni isang pagkakataon na nagsalubong ang landas namin ni Dennis Lacson Cunanan. At katulad ko, nakakasiguro kung hindi siya kilala, nakasalamuha, o nakausap ni Senador Enrile at Revilla. Sabagay, lagi nga pala siyang wala sa Pilipinas, kaya marahil walang pagkakataon para magtagpo ang aming landas. Kaya nakakapagtaka po talaga na si Enrile, Revilla at Estrada lamang ang mga pangalang tanging binabanggit ni Cunanan patungkol sa usapin ng PDAF na matagal din po niyang hinawakan sa TRC when they implemented projects funded under PDAF. Limitado din lang sa mga NGOs na sinasabing konektado kay Ginang Napoles ang naalala ni Dennis Cunanan. Alam natin na taong 2004 ay nasa TRC na si Cunanan. Taong 2005 naman nagsimulang makatanggap ng PDAF ang TRC mula sa mga mambabatas. Matatandaan na bago siya mapunta sa TRC, kagagaling lamang ni Cunanan magtrabaho ng ilang taon sa House of Representatives, hindi po ba? Kaya't hindi po malayong mangyari na maraming congressmen ang lumapit o kumausap sa kanya. Hindi ba niya ito maalala? At kung talagang totoo ang sinasabi niya na tumatawag siya para magberipika ng aking lagda, sino-sino pa ang tinawagan niya? Hindi naman niya siguro dapat makalimutan ang mga mambabatas na lumapit sa kanya o tinawagan niya ng mga panahong yun. Hindi po ba? Ang dati niyang boss sa House of Representatives, hindi ba siya kinausap? Yung mga congressman ng Pampanga na kababayan niya, hindi ba lumapit sa kanya patungkol sa PDAF? Wala na ba siya talagang naalalang iba? O may nagsabi sa kanya na si Enrile, Revilla at Estrada na lamang ang tanging alalahanin at banggitin? Matatandaan po natin na ayon sa COA Special Audit Report on PDAF, humigit kumulang na 2.4 billion pesos. Inulit ko, 2.4 billion pesos ang na-release na PDAF ng 200 mambabatas sa TRC noong taong 2007, 2008, and 2009. Sinabi din sa COA Special Audit Report na itong 2 bilyong piso na ito ay nirelease ng TRC sa 39 na NGOs. 39 NGOs po. Ulitin ko po ha. More than 200 legislators, more than 30 NGOs, at more than 2 billion pesos ang dumaan na PDAF transactions sa TRC. Ngayon, ang naalala lang ni Cunanan ay 3. Si Revilla, si Estrada, at si Enrile. Bakit? Sa kanyang sinumpaang salaysay, may congressman siyang pinangalanan na di umano'y naghintay ng buong araw sa kanyang opisina para sa cheque ng NGO na dinesignate ni congressman. Ang siste, Ginoong Pangulo, patay na po ang congressman na ito. Kaya hindi ko na rin po babanggitin ang kanyang pangalan. Kung susuriin ang COA Special Audit Report, hindi lamang po si Enrile, Revilla at Estrada ang mga mambabatas na nagbigay ng PDAF sa TRC. May iba pa pong pinangalanan sa COA Special Audit Report at ang mga mambabatas na ito ay naglaan din ng PDAF sa TRC at gumamit ng NGO sa pag-implementa ng proyekto. Tinawagan din ba sila ni Cunanan upang mag-verify? Napakarami pong mambabatas ang nagpa-implementa ng kanilang PDAF through TRC at gumamit din po ng non-government organizations. Ayan po listahan. Ulitin ko lamang po ang aking sinabi kanina. More than 200 legislators, more than 30 NGOs at 2.44 billion pesos ang dumaan na PDAF transactions sa TRC. Ngayon, bakit 3 lang kami naalala ni Ginoong Cunanan? Sa dinami-dami ng NGOs na nakipagtransaksyon sa TRC, bakit tanging si Ginang Napoles, si Ben Harluy, at isang Evelyn De Leon lang ang naalala niyang kumausap sa kanya. Kung susumain ang halaga ng PDAF ni Enrile, Estrada at Revilla na dumaan sa TRC ay humigit kumulang 250 million pesos. Nasaan po ang natitirang 2.2 billion pesos pa? Ginoong Pangulo, babalikan ko lamang ang mga salaysay ni Dennis patungkol sa pagkakausap daw namin sa telepono. Sabi ni Secretary De Lima kasi, ito daw po ang napakahalagang sinabi ni Cunanan dahil this will prove that we put or exerted pressure on the implementing agencies. In his sworn statement in paragraph 17.3, Cunanan said, and I quote, I could not also forget the time when a representative of several NGOs, Mr. Ben Hurluy, came to our office to follow up and discuss their pending PDAF-funded projects at the TRC, endorsed by Senator Estrada and Senator Revilla. During our meeting, in an obvious attempt to pressure us to immediately approve the said projects, he took out his cellular phone and called the offices of Senators Revilla and Estrada. And when asked during the Blue Ribbon about this statement, pinahayag ni Cunanan na sinabi ko daw nung kami ay di umanong nagkausap. Ano bang problema niyan? Bakit hindi nyo patapusin para ma-implement na? Hinihintay na yan sa ground. Sabi ko daw. At sumagot daw siya, Senator, pinoprocess lang ho namin. Hindi namin ho talaga ganun kadali-dali lahat yun. Dinugtong pa po ni Mr. Cunanan nang siya ay inusisa tungkol sa kanyang pagtawag sa akin na siguradong sigurado siya na ako ang kanyang nakausap dahil napapanood niya ako sa aking mga pelikula at nakikita daw niya ako sa TV. At dahil doon, kabisado niya daw ang boses ko. Mr. President, mahirap po paniwalaan to. Pagkatapos ko pong mahalal bilang senador ng Republika ng Pilipinas noong 2004, ay naging napakadalang na po ang aking paggawa ng pelikula. Isa o dalawang pelikula na lamang ang aking ginawa nung ako'y senador na. Kaya't kasinungalingan na naman po ang kanyang sinasabi na napaka-familiar po ang aking boses. Talagang hindi siguro talaga siya nanood ng pelikula ko, Ginoong Pangulo. Kasinungalingan po ang lahat ng yan, Ginoong Pangulo. Uulitin ko, hindi po kami nagkausap kailanman, ni minsan, ni Dennis Cunanan. Mr. President, during the Blue Ribbon hearing, when Dennis was asked, what year did this telephone conversation happen? He said, around 2008. 2008 daw po ha. Now, consider this, Mr. President. When the so-called telephone conversation and also the kickback received by Cunanan were being discussed, Loy was asked about those circumstances. Matatandaan na sinabi ni Loy na una niya nakita si Dennis Cunanan sa JLN office sa Discovery Suites. Ibig sabihin po, bago pa nangyari noong 2008, ang sinasabi niyang pagkakausap namin di umano sa telepono sa kanyang opisina, magkakakilala na sila ni Loy at malinaw na tumatanggap na po si Cunanan mula sa JLN ng mga kickback. Hindi po ba? Kung matagal na silang magkakilala ni Ben Hurluy at matagal na siyang nakikipagtransaksyon sa mga NGOs ni Loy dahil tumatanggap na nga siya ng kickback mula sa PDAF, ano pa po ang saysay ng sinasabi niyang pagberipika sa aking opisina? Yung sinasabi niyang dapat dumaan sa proseso. Yung pressure kuno na binabanggit niya. Ginoong Pangulo, napakalinaw na gawa-gawa lang ni Cunanan ang kwentong kami ay nagkausap sa telepono. Uulitin ko lang po, Wala pong nangyaring ganyan at pawang kasinungalingan lamang yan ni Cunanan. The career of Mr. Cunanan from his days in college to his days in public office and reaching up to his testimony in the Blue Ribbon Committee has been founded and grounded on falsehoods and misrepresentation. Sa sinumpaang salaysay din po ni Cunanan, sinabi niyang ministerial lamang ang kanyang naging partisipasyon patungkol sa PDAF na dumaan sa kanilang ahensya. Ministerial nga ba ang mga aksyon na ginawa ni Cunanan patungkol sa pondo na dumaan sa kanilang ahensya? Kung susuriin ang mga sinasabi niyang memorandum o polisiya tungkol sa PDAF na sinunod ng kanilang ahensya, makikita na si Cunanan ang recommending approval sa mga disbursement vouchers. Ibig sabihin po niyan, hindi po pipirma ang Director General at hindi po uusad ang mga papel kung wala ang naunang lagda ni Cunanan. Dahil si Cunanan ang recommending approval, ito marahil ang dahilan. Kaya sa kanya lumalapit ang mga gustong mapabilis ang pagproseso at pag-release ng mga pondong mula sa PDAF. Hindi ba't sa mga naunang salaysay ni Louie, sinabi niyang si Cunanan di umano ang kanilang contact sa TRC at si Cunanan ang di umano'y kumukuha ng komisyon mula sa NGOs? Sinabi din ni Cunanan sa kanyang sinumpaang salaysay na bago siya pumirma sa mga dokumento patungkol sa PDAF, ay masusi niyang binubusisi ang mga ito at sinisiguradong kompleto ang mga attachments na ito. Kasinungalingan po lahat yan. Kung masusi pong binubusisi ni Cunanan ang mga dokumento katulad ng kanyang sinabi, dapat napansin niya siguro na mas nauna pa ang recommendation for release of the 10% retention fee worth 2.5 million pesos noong February 3 kaysa request ng NGO na ito ay ma-release noong February 4. Wala pang request. May recommendation para i-release na? Anong klase yan? At kung masusi niya rin binubusisi ang mga dokumento, dapat napansin niya rin na noong September 26 of 2008, napirmahan ng MOA na nagsasabing may mga dokumento munang dapat isumite ang NGO bago mag-release ng pondo. Pero mapapansin na September 25 ng 2008 pa lang may cheque na para sa NGO. Wala pang MOA, ngunit may cheque na. Hindi ba ang mga ganitong mga pagkakamali ay dapat nakatawag ng kanyang pansin? Kung sinasabi ni Mr. Cunanan na tumawag siya sa mga senador para mag-verifika ng lagda ng mga ito, hindi ba mas lalo dapat siyang tumawag kung may nakita siyang mali o kahina-hinalang pangyari patungkol sa PDAF? Nakita ba niya mali? O sadyang nagbubulag-bulagan siya at pinalagpas niya ito dahil sa silaw ng salapi? Sa mga ilang pahayag ni Cunanan sa media, at paulit-ulit din sinabi niya sa Blue Ribbon Committee hearing, na simula nung umupo siya bilang Director General noong 2010, tinigil na ng TRC ang pag-implement ng mga proyektong pinondohan ng PDAF. Kahanga-hanga ang mga ito, kung ito ay totoo. May reforma ba talaga? May reforma ba siyang pinatupad? O puro forma lang itong si Cunanan? Tingnan natin ang COA Annual Audit Report ng TRC noong 2010. Under cash and cash equivalents, there is an entry titled Cash Funds entrusted to NGOs and POs. 2.3 million pesos for 2010. For the COA report, this represents the financial assistance granted to 2 NGOs for the implementation of livelihood projects under the PDAF entrusted to the center, which are to be liquidated upon full implementation of the project. O akala ko ba pinatigil niya na noong 2010? O ano ito? In the same 2010 COA report, under trust liabilities, it says, PDAF refer to the balance of funds released by the Department of Budget and Management still with the Center for eventual release to NGOs or POs identified by the lawmakers who are the PDAF grantors. Then the following entries appear. For 2009, 21.9 million, and for 2010, 21.5 million pesos. Kung hindi na nagpatupad ng proyekto ang TRC mula sa PDAF simula 2010, ano ang nangyari sa pondong ito? Dumako naman tayo sa COA report ng TRC noong 2011. Again, under cash and cash equivalents, there is an entry, cash funds entrusted to NGOs and POs. Andun yung 2.3 million pesos sa taong 2010 at may bagong entry in 2011, 1.9 million pesos. Per the 2011 COA report, the amount that appeared under cash fund entrusted to NGOs, POs represents the financial assistance granted to Kabuhayan at Kalusugan Alay sa Masa Foundation for the implementation of livelihood projects under the PDAF entrusted to the center, which are to be liquidated upon full implementation of the project. O akala ko ba, Ginoong Pangulo ay pinatigil na ni Cunanan noong 2010 ang mga proyektong pinondohan mula sa PDAF. 2011, meron pa. At kung susuriin natin yung sinabi ni Cunanan na listahan ng mga NGOs na buong giting niyang pinapa-blacklist o pina-blacklist noong 2010, kasama po ang Kabuhayan at Kalusugan Alay sa Masa Foundation na naka-blacklist. Ano ngayon ang ibig sabihin ng pag-release ng pondo sa isang blacklisted NGO noong 2011? Abay, malakas siguro kay Cunanan ng NGO na ito. O kaya mambabatas. Sino kaya ang mambabatas na ito? Ang sagot ay nasa COA Annual Audit Report ng 2012. Sa Table of Schedule of Unliquidated PDAF Release as of December 31, 2012, makikita kung kaninong PDAF po nang galing ang pondo. Pinakita ko na rin lamang ang table na yan. Banggitin na natin kung sino pa nakalistang pangalan yan. Na naka-blacklist yung kanyang NGO. Isang nagngangalang Congressman Carlo Oliver Jasnis at Congressman Lorenzo Noel. Nabanggit ko na ito nung araw, nung unang privilege speech ko. Parehong ginamit ni Jasnis at Noel ang NGO na Bantayog Kalinga Foundation Incorporated. At kung babalikan natin muli ang listahan ng na-blacklist na NGO noong 2010, kasama po ang Bantayog Kalinga Foundation Incorporated. So, Ginoong Pangulo, may reforma ba talaga? O puro forma lang itong si Cunanan? Ngayon, Ginoong Pangulo, tingnan naman natin ang COA Annual Report ng 2012. Under cash funds entrusted to NGOs for 2012, there was an entry for 42 million pesos. O kala ko ba 2010 wala na? Hindi ba't noong 2010, 2 million pesos na lang? Noong 2011, 1.9 million pesos na nga lang? Taong 2012, 42 million pesos pa. Pero hindi lang po yan ang hawak ng TRC noong 2012. According to the COA report, aside from the 42 million pesos from PDAF, meron ding collection held in trust from Disbursement Acceleration Program o DAP. Ang TRC na nagkakahalaga ng 45 million pesos. Kaya siguro sinabi ni Cunanan na wala ng PDAP kasi abalang-abala siya sa DAP. It would be very interesting to know sino ang tinawagan ni Cunanan para mag-verify kunwari ng mga signatures, di po ba? Ngayon, kailangan ko ba bang tanungin kung may reforma o forma? Di ba obvious na puro forma? Ginoong Pangulo, Mr. President, and with your indulgence, and with the indulgence of this assembly and our people, let me now direct your attention to another aspiring state witness, Ms. Ruby Chan Tuason. Let me take this opportunity to expose this witness, that the DOJ may rethink and reconsider its policy of picking stray cats just to build its case. Lest the public continue to be deceived by the so-called slam dunk evidence preferred by Mrs. Tuason. I would just like to bring her back to public attention, because I am also wondering why she was allowed to silently and stealthily leave the country last week on a flimsy pretense of attending to some personal matters, foremost of which, according to her lawyer, to finance her commitment to return 40 million pesos to the government. When the news broke that Mrs. Tuason again left the country, it should be remembered that Secretary Laila de Lima was very upset over the immigration spokesperson's disclosure to the media of Mrs. Tuason's departure. In fact, she ordered the immigration official to explain, and Secretary de Lima even publicly threatened to impose administrative sanctions against the said immigration official. The question, Mr. President, is why? Why? Why is Secretary de Lima so mad, so angry? Is it because, as she said, the disclosure could compromise the security of Mrs. Tuason, who was hastily admitted to the Witness Protection Program, even as provisional witness? Or was it because allowing Mrs. Tuason to leave the country immediately after poisoning the public's mind with her self-serving confessions, part of the secret deal she cut with the DOJ? Is it not the right of the public to know the circumstances of her leaving? Who was she with? Who were allowed to reach her? Who will she talk to? Indeed, what further lies could she concoct while enjoying the comfort and privilege of being wherever she wants to be abroad? Did she travel via business class or first class? Who paid for her ticket? Who is financing her travel and stay abroad? These questions need answers, Mr. President. Hindi naman po ata kailangan ni Mrs. Tuason pumunta sa abroad para mangalap ng 40 million pesos. Ang kanyang mamahaling bahay at lupa sa Dasmariñas Village, nasa screen na po. Number 1510, Carissa Street, Dasmariñas Village, Makati City. Na mas kilala sa tawag na Malampaya Mansion, would be more than enough to finance the measly 40 million pesos na sinabi niyang kanyang ibabalik. Ayon sa dokumentong aking nakalap, nabili ni Mrs. Tuason ang Malampaya Mansion noong 2009 sa halagang 45 million pesos. Nandiyan po ang deed of sale. At napatituluhan noong October of 2009. Tinawag po itong Malampaya Mansion ng mga malalapit kay Mrs. Tuason sapagkat ito ay isa sa mga katas di umano ng kanyang Malampaya kickbacks na sinasabing umabot sa halagang 242 million pesos. Sinasabi ding bunga ng kita mula Malampaya ni Mrs. Ruby Tuason ay ang tinayo niyang korporasyon, ang Ruby Sons Incorporated, And per records gathered from the SEC, in October of 2009, Mrs. Tuason and her two sons put up an 80 million capitalized corporation which is supposed to be engaged in micro business activities. Obviously, not content with the multi-million corporation, Mrs. Tuason, the socialite that she is, also put up a high-end jewelry store in a plush hotel in August 2013, managed by her niece, Jocelyn. Easily, this investment is again worth so many millions, Mr. President. Aside from the multi-million Malampaya mansion in Dasmariñas village, the multi-million corporation and the jewelry store, Mrs. Tuason also bought membership shares at the Manila Polo Club for her two sons, which shares are said to be worth 12 million pesos. At mukhang marami pang natira sa kinita ni Mrs. Tuason sa Malampaya, Ginoong Pangulo. Dahil hindi pa po siya nakontento sa kanyang shopping spree sa Maynila. Because in 2008, Mrs. Tuason bought a real estate property at the Las Vegas Country Club said to be worth 6.3 million pesos. And in September 2010, based on records that I was able to gather, she bought another property in Oakland, California, worth $150,000. Lumabas na po kamakailan sa balita at sa mga pahayagan na nai-transfer na ni Mrs. Tuason noong pang September 2013 ang kanyang Las Vegas property sa kanyang anak na si Francis Franco Tuason. At base din sa mga nakalap kong dokumento, naibenta na rin noong September 2013 ang sinasabing property sa California. Kaya bakit po pinayagan pang umalis si Mrs. Tuason? Marami pa ba siyang mga ari-arian sa Amerika na ibebenta? O marami pa siyang ari-arian na gusto niyang itago sa pangalan ng kanyang mga anak? Ginoong Pangulo, bukod sa mga sinabi kong ari-arian ni Mrs. Tuason, napag-alaman ko rin, meron siya isang bahay sa Henderson, Nevada, bahay sa Kawayan Cove sa Cavite, townhouse sa Alabang, at townhouse sa Valle Verde. Given all of this, Mr. President, tanong ko lang, Ginoong Pangulo, tinanggap na lang ba ni Secretary De Lima nang wala man lang investigasyon ang sinabi ni Mrs. Ruby Tuason na ang kanyang namatay na kapatid na si Remy Chan ang nomisyon at nakinabang ng 242 million pesos mula sa Malampaya Fund? Hindi ba obvious na siya, si Ruby Tuason ang nakinabang? Si Remy Chan po, mga kababayan, ay nakababatang kapatid ni Ruby Tuason. Sa tagal po ng panahon, nakakilala ng aming pamilya si Ginang Tuason. Wala pong pagkakataon na nakilala ko ng lubos si Remy, maliban lamang noong mga taon na siya ay nagkasakit at nangailangan ng medical assistance mula sa aking tanggapan. Napadalas po ang paghingi ni Remy sa pamamagitan ni Mrs. Tuason ng tulong medikal at pinansyal sa aking opisina, pati na rin sa opisina ni Senador Enrile ng mga taong 2008, 2009, 2010 dahil sa sakit niyang kanser. May isa pa nga pong pagkakataon na personal na nagpunta si Remy sa Senado upang humingi ng tulong at maawa ka talaga sa kanya dahil payat siya at mukhang may malubhang sakit. Kaya't hindi ko po lubos na maisip kung paano na ang isang taong may sakit na kanser At malamang may taning na ang buhay noong mga panahon na sinasabing nangyari ang Malampaya scam ay makakaisip pang mangumisyon o gumawa ng kalokohan. Matatandaan na sinabi ni Mrs. Tuason na si Remy ay isang fortune teller o manghuhula. Nahulaan kaya niya kung sinong magiging koneksyon daw niya sa Malacanang para kumita ng malaki mula sa Malampaya scam? Nahulaan din kaya niya na pagkamatay niya ay gagamitin siya ng kapatid niya para makalusot sa pinakamalaking akusasyon sa kanya na siya ang kumita ng pinakamalaki mula sa Malampaya scam? Sana buhay pa si Remy. Kung buhay pa si Remy, baka pwede rin nating pahulaan sa kanya kung saan niya diniposito at sino ang tunay na nakinabang sa daan-daang milyong kickback sa Malampaya Fund. Patay na si Remy. So, the end of the Malampaya story. As far as Mrs. Tuason's liability is concerned, yan ang ipinalulunok nila sa madla. Mr. President, it was all too clever and very convenient for Mrs. Tuason to put all the blame and guilt on her dead brother, isn't it? As the known idiomatic expression goes, dead men tell no tales. This is just like Mr. Dennis Cunanan citing a dead congressman. Patay na po ang kapatid ni Mrs. Tuason na si Remy. Kaya hindi na natin marinig pa mula sa kanya ang nalalaman niya patungkol sa Malampaya kung meron man. Ngunit, hindi naman nangangahulugan na nalibing na kasama ni Remy ang katotohanan, di po ba? Maaari pa natin malaman ito kung imumulat lamang ng mga kinaukulan ang kanilang paningin at itutuon ang kanilang pandinig sa mga bumubulong na tinig. Now, Mr. President, I have with me the partial result of the review of the Senate CCTV footage. This was submitted by the Senate Security to the Senate President, and I was given a copy. It should be remembered that after the allegation of Mrs. Tuason that she delivered money in my office using the basement parking, as if insinuating she was hiding a bulk of money from prying eyes, I manifested before the floor in February that CCTV footage at the Senate basement parking and even at the Senate building be reviewed so that the public may be informed as to when Mrs. Tuason was present here in the Senate premises and if she was indeed bringing millions contained in a duffel bag as she alleged. Unfortunately, our Senate Security said that for years 2004 to 2010, CCTV footage at the basement parking, which were saved in video home system or VHS tapes, are no longer available. But all is not lost, because our security also reviewed the CCTV footage at the entrance main lobby and at the 6th floor of the Senate, where my office is located. With your permission, Mr. President, I will show to the public the result of the review. Per the CCTV footage review of the ground floor and 6th floor of the Senate building, a lady that resembles Mrs. Ruby Tuason was seen on the following dates and time. There. November 17, 2008, at 5:03 in the afternoon. She was being inspected by the members of our Sergeant at Arms. Take note, the bag that she was carrying. There was no duffel bag. Minutes later, 5:15, on the same date, she was seen exiting the elevator on the sixth floor. Remember, take note, no duffel bag. Minutes later again, or seconds later, she was walking the corridors of the sixth floor, probably going to my office or going to the office of Senator Enrile. On November 19, at 2:33 in the afternoon, Mrs. Tuason is shown exiting the elevator again on the sixth floor. Note that she is carrying only her handbag. No duffel bag has been seen. Minutes later, or seconds later, or minutes later, she was seen leaving the Senate premises. Again, no signs of any duffel bag. On December 18 of 2008, at 3:42, that slide shows that she's being inspected by the security of the Senate. Remember and take note that she is only holding her handbag. Yung malaking bag na pula dyan, hindi niya bag yun ah. Baka sabihin, baleta yun. Bag nung isang tao yun. There's no duffel bag. And December 18, minutes later, again she was being inspected. Next slide, please. 10 minutes later, she is seen walking again the corridors of the sixth floor. Again, no signs of any duffel bag. Ngayon, Ginoong Pangulo, matatandaan na sa sinumpaang salaysay ni Mrs. Tuason, meron po siyang sinabi ng mga transaksyon patungkol sa aking PDAF na nakakuha daw po ako ng komisyon. When she was asked if there were other transactions involving the PDAF of Senator Estrada that was completed or consummated by Janet Napoles through Mrs. Tuason, she answered and stated in her sworn statement, "Yes, sir. After this cancelled transaction, Senator Jinggoy Estrada was able to complete transactions involving his PDAF with Janet Napoles because the latter paid the share of Senator Estrada. Part of these transactions appeared in the accounting records of Ben-Hur Lui. Then, she included in her sworn statement this table." Pansinin po natin ang mga petsa. March 6, ito galing po ito sa sinumpaang salaysay ni Ginang Tuason. March 6 of 2008, September 17, 2008, October 16, 2008, and October 28, 2008. Yan daw po ang mga petsa nang nakakuha ako di umano ng komisyon sa pamamagitan niya. Malamang ito na rin ang mga petsang palalabasin nilang nag-deliver si Mrs. Tuason sa aking opisina. Sa CCTV footage po, lumitaw lamang na November at December ng 2008 nagpunta ng Senado si Mrs. Tuason. Wala pong nakita na nagpunta siya na March, September, or October. Given all these facts, Mr. President, hayaan ko na po kayo ang gumawa ng sarili ninyong konklusyon. And now, Mr. President, it will be remembered that Mrs. Tuason was fetched from abroad and grandly escorted back to Manila by NBI agents in February this year. Noticeably, while in Manila, Mrs. Tuason was pampered with security complete with a yaya who carries her bag while she struts around hailed as a slam dunk hero, a buzzer beater, and a 3-point winning shooter. It is also said that Mrs. Tuason will be free of all criminal liabilities, even from the Malampaya scam, on the flimsy alibi that it was her dead brother and not she who was involved. And now here comes the fishy exit abroad, again, courtesy of the Department of Justice. May I ask, why the very special treatment on Mrs. Tuason and Mr. Conanan, Mr. President? Is this very special treatment part and parcel of the concessions given to them in exchange for their agreement to pin us down? Is this VIP treatment in exchange for a fabricated story that Ruby Tuason delivered money to me through the basement parking of the Senate and to my house, of which she doesn't even know the address? Is this very special treatment in exchange for the story of allegedly exerting pressure on the implementing agencies? I demand to know the answers to these disturbing questions, Mr. President. Mr. President, are these the kind of witnesses that the DOJ is now staunchly vouching and spending for under its witness protection program? People who cannot even be honest about their real educational background? People who would not hesitate to drag the name of a dead brother just to conceal their own guilt? People who pose as reformists and whistleblowers to hide or mitigate their own greed? Has the DOJ deliberately omitted these facts and information from the Blue Ribbon Committee and the public just to support and build their case? Or are they simply not aware because they did not explore the background of these personalities that they are now supporting as provisional state witnesses? Is the DOJ now so desperate to pursue this case that they must now employ half-truths and perjured testimonies? Is this the handiwork of an undersecretary of the DOJ who, I am informed by unimpeachable sources, has repeatedly instructed the witnesses to focus only on this representation and Senators Juan Ponce Enrile and Ramon Bong Revilla Jr.? Pati ang ilang kasama natin dito sa Senado ay sinintensya na po kami. Masakit. Napakasakit at nakakalungkot po, Ginoong Pangulo. It is unfortunate that some senators have been using the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing on the PDAF to advance their own political agenda. They even participate in the trial by publicity by making irresponsible statements and unfounded conclusions. Mr. President, a senator even proposed the creation of a special court or division to try the PDAF cases for speedy resolution of the cases. Mr. President, how can he claim that when it took a special division of the Sandigan Bayan 6.5 long years to try the plunder cases against my father and myself? He must be so desperate to make sure we are convicted by hand-picked justices on the testimony of perjured and coached witnesses. That senator, Mr. President, just announced his bid for the presidency in 2016. This is a glaring proof and an undeniable confirmation that he is just using this PDAF controversy to advance his own political agenda. Ginoong Pangulo, may mga nagsasabi na hindi ko raw sinasagot ang mga paratang laban sa akin. Paulit-ulit ko na pong sinabi na sasagutin kong lahat na ito sa tamang panahon at sa tamang pagkakataon. In fact, I have already answered the charges against me in a counter affidavit submitted before the Ombudsman. And I will defend myself before the Sandigan Bayan in the unfortunate event that an information is filed before it. Ginoong Pangulo, makailang ulit ko na rin pong sinabi, nakaisa ako ng pamahalaan at ng taong bayan sa paghanap ng katotohanan patungkol sa kontrobersiya sa PDAF. Ngunit, ang hindi ko po kayang tanggapin at payagan ay ang pagbaluktot ng katotohanan at pagmamaniobra ng mga sitwasyon para paboran ang mga makapangyarihan at siraan lamang ang iilan. Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo.
The Majority Leader.
Mr. President, may I know if the gentleman from San Juan will answer a few questions?
Mr. President,
The Majority Leader is raising a question on the
Senator,
person on the floor.
I was discussing this with Senator, and if the Majority Leader will not mind, may we suspend the session
Mr.
first?
President, I
for 15
object,
minutes?
Mr. President, because
Then
this
we-
is televised, and obviously the gentleman was referring to me, and the tradition of the Senate is that if you accuse a fellow member or you name him, or kahit blind item, pero obviously siya, you give him the opportunity to reply. If we suspend now, what will happen is I will not be given the opportunity to reply. So I beg the indulgence of the Deputy Minority Leader.
I leave it to the gentleman, Mr. President.
Mr. President, can you just give me 5 minutes since I have
5
liquidity
minutes.
problems, Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. President.
I am willing to yield, Mr. President, only for 5 minutes.
I would not object to a real 5-minute recess, Mr. President. Thank you.
All
very
right,
much.
session is suspended for 5 minutes.
Better.
I'm ready, Mr. President.
Session is resumed. The Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I take exception to some of the statements of the gentleman from San Juan. Let me start out by him saying that wala siyang kapatid na mabait. Meron po siyang kapatid na mabait, Mr. President.
Mr. President, marami po akong kapatid, Mr. President.
But seriously, Mr. President, let me start out by saying that this is not about Senator Jinggoy. This is not about Alang Cayetano. This is not about 2016. This is about the people's money. Yung buong institusyon po natin ay nadudurog. Ang pagtingin ng tao sa gobyerno nadudurog. Dahil ang tingin nila kung sinong dapat nagbabantay sa pera ng bayan, ang siyang pang nagbantay sa lakay. We gave Senators Jinggoy, Senator Bong, and Senator Enrile all the chances here. They can attend the hearing anytime they want to speak here. Pero lately na lang po sila nagsasalita. So the first question I'd like to ask Senator Jinggoy, the gentleman from San Juan, did we ever treat you differently from how you treated the witnesses in the committees nung ikaw nagtatanong sa kanila? Halimbawa po, kay General Secretary Reyes, kay General Ligot, doon po sa mga witnesses, doon po sa DFA po, no? Yung mga ni-rape natin mga OFWs. Kung paano mo sila tanungin? Kung paano mo silang yung gusto mo lumabas yung katotohanan? Hindi ba ganun din lang ginawa ko sa Blue Ribbon Committee?
Sa tingin mo ba, kung ako sakasakaling mag-attend ng isang hearing man lang ng Blue Ribbon Committee at kaharap ko po yung mga testigo laban sa akin o laban sa amin, sa tingin mo ba, kung magsinungaling yung mga testigo na yan, masasite ko ba sila in contempt? Hindi ko po sila masasite in contempt because people will accuse me of bullying our witnesses because I myself am involved in this so-called PDAF scam. And you know, Mr. President, the reason why I inhibited myself from the Blue Ribbon, from participating in the Blue Ribbon Committee is that, first of all, I believe that the Blue Ribbon Committee is not the proper forum to defend myself, Mr. President. The real forum, the proper forum, or the appropriate forum, Mr. President, is the court. Kung sakasakaling madala ng ombudsman ang impormasyon sa Sandigan Bayan, wag naman sana. Doon ko po sasagutin yan lahat. Ngunit, ano po ang sinasabi ng ating mga kapwa senador? Umpisa pa lamang po nung hearing ng Blue Ribbon Committee. Kung natatandaan ko po, sana sumipot lahat itong mga nakasuhan sa PDAP, itong si Senator Estrada, Senator Revilla, at si Senator Enrile. Pilit nyo kaming pinapupunta sa hearing. And I've noticed, you were the one. Ikaw mismo, Ginoong Pangulo, ang nagsabi, sana pumunta sila rito para ma-depensa lang sarili nila. That is not the proper forum to defend my honor and my integrity, Mr. President.
Well, Mr. President, that wasn't my question. My question was, iba ba ang pagkilos ko pagka iba ang kaharap ko at iba ba pagkilos ko ngayon? Dahil sinasabi niya, ginagamit ko tong committee na to. Eh hindi naman po ako nagbago. Kahit sino naman nasa kaharap ko, I'm respectful by saying ma'am or sir, o po o ho. Pero yung matitibay na at saka yung matatapang na tanong, tinatanong ko because people deserve the truth. Now, let me go to his statement now. Hindi daw yun ang tamang venue. Well, ang second question ko, with all due respect to the gentleman from San Juan, bakit tayo may double standard? At yun din ang tanong ko sa ating pangalawang Pangulo, VP Binay. Bakit nung si GMA, sabi ni GMA, kasuhan niyo ako sa korte na lang. Ang sabi natin, hindi. Pangulo ka, magpaliwanag ka sa tao. Sinabi namin impeachment, ayaw rin niya magsalita. Pabayaan daw yung mga congressman. Magkasama tayo nagrarally nun ni Senator Jinggoy at pareho sinasabi natin, sa Makati pa tayo nagrarally. Kasama ang dating mayor at ngayon vice president. Sabi natin, public official ka, bakit namin hihintayin na sa korte yan? Sumagot ka dahil ang tao ay may karapatan malaman. So, why are we now having a double standard? So, the issue now is that sa korte kayo sasagot. And in the meantime, kami, what will we do, Mr. President? Mananahimik kami? You don't want us to make any statements? Palubog ng palubog ang Senado? Ang tingin ng marami, lahat tayo dito nagnanakaw? So what do you want me to do, Mr. President? You want me to be quiet? I won't say anything about this? We're having a double standard here. Kung senador, sa korte na lang sumagot, pero yung dating Pangulo, ang gusto natin sa publiko, doesn't the public deserve an answer? Where did you put your pork barrel? Totoo bang kilala mo si Napoles? Totoo bang ito? You're answering now Dennis Cunanan. This is not the court, but you're answering the inconsistencies of Dennis Cunanan. What about the accusations that malapit ka kay Ms. Napoles? What about the accusations na bilyon-bilyon ay nawala? Doesn't that deserve an answer, Mr. President?
Una-una, Ginoong Pangulo, I advise the good senator to just limit the discussion dito sa privilege speech ko. Wag na natin isama si Vice President Binay, si former President Arroyo sa usapin to. Wala naman silang kinalaman dito sa speech ko. Ngayon, tungkol naman sa unang tanong mo, Ginoong Pangulo, dun sa pag-imbestiga ng mga general, kay General Reyes, kay General Ligot, kay Mrs. Ligot, I never disrespected our resource persons. Yung pagkamatay po ni General Reyes, that was not my doing. That was his choice. That was his decision. I never disrespected General Reyes when he appeared during our hearing. Maybe it was another senator, not me. And even the same is true with General Ligot and Mrs. Ligot. And all the resource persons present. I just wanted to ferret out the truth in what really transpired during their tenure, Mr. President. And in fact, that hearing, I can attest. I made to believe that that hearing was in aid of legislation. And nangyayari po ngayon dito sa Blue Ribbon Committee, lahat yung mga gustong tumakbo, nagpapasikat at our own expense. Remember, Mr. President, noong pagkatapos ng unang hearing o dalawang hearing, naalala ko, nandun po si Senate President Drilon. Nagkaroon tayo ng caucus mismo sa loob ng Senate Lounge. Ano sinabi ko? Mr. President, pwede ba magsalita rito sa caucus natin? The Senate President gave me a chance to talk. Ang sabi ko, mahirap dito sa atin. Yung mga ibang senador, ginagamit po yung hearing ng Blue Ribbon at our own expense. Kasi, nung una ako nag-privilege speech, sinabi ko, I was also alluding to some of the senators. And that senator then was present. But he did not interpolate me. Pagkatapos, ginamit the venue para balikan ako, para tirahin ako the next day. Doon sa Blue Ribbon Committee. Tinira walang humpay, Mr. President. Kaya po ako nagsalita ng caucus natin. Dahil may mga ibang senador, kako, na gustong gamitin ang Blue Ribbon Committee hearing to further their political interest. Nag-grandstanding eh. Halos lahat, kung napapansin ninyo, wala nang ibang inatupag. Kundi parang gusto na nila i-coach yung kanilang, yung mga resource persons present noon. Banggitin nilang, Estrada, Revilla, Enrile. Meron pa nga nagtanong na isang senador, sino inakyatan mo sa 6th floor? Si sexy ba o si tanda? Mga ganun ba? Ano klaseng tanong? Ano ba ibig sabihin nun? O di ba nagpapasikat lamang po? Para lamang mapahiya kami ni Senator Enrile? Hindi halatang kinukuha nila yung oras na yon, sinasamantala nila yung oras na yon para wasakin kami sa mata ng publiko. Yun po ang hindi ko po matanggap. And I've always been saying, even to Senator Cayetano, when I blurted out in that caucus, sinabi ko, I'm referring to you, Mr. Senator. Ikaw, tinuro ko pa siya. But after the caucus, what did he do? He approached me, Mr. President. Senator, I remember vividly, Senator Alan Cayetano approached me. And he said, pare, these were your exact words. I hope you won't deny it. Pare, you know, I feel very bad. Bakit? You've been very good to me since the very start. O alam mo, yun naman pala eh. Naging mabait ako sa'yo eh. Ba't mo ako tinitira? You know, I have a role to play. Anong role? Porket majority floor leader, role to play na. Pwede mo na kaming banatan, siraan. I've been very good. Ako, nakikisama ako sa lahat ng aking mga kasamahan dito sa Senado. I've been telling you that, Mr. President. I've been telling Senator Alan Peter Cayetano about it. Since 2004, I wanted to make sure, when I became a senator, I wanted to maintain a good relationship to all my peers in the Senate, even those of my colleagues who betrayed my father. Lahat yan, kaibigan ko. Wala pong masamang tinapay sa akin. Laking gulat ko na lang nung lumabas itong scam na ito. Tinira-tira na ako. Tinira-tira si Senator Enrile, tinira-tira si Senator Bong. Wala naman po akong ginagawang kasalanan sa kanila. Masyado na pong personal to. Yun ang Pangulo.
Mr. President, let me assure the gentleman and our people, precisely it's not personal. Dugtungan ko lang po muna yung sinabi niyo, Senator, no? Sabi mo, nilapitan kita at sinabi ko, pare, masakit din sa akin yung nangyayari. I confirm that. Bakit? Magkakasama tayo dito eh. Araw-araw tayo nagkita. And you have done me favors, you have been a friend to me, kinumpare mo pa yung kapatid ko. But I told you, I have a role to play. Nung pong impeachment ng inyong ama, napakalapit ko po sa inyo, pero tingin ko mali yung ginawa, pinirmahan ko. Si FG po, si First Gentleman Mike Arroyo, ninong ko po sa kasal. Pero nakita kong mali ang ginagawa, pinirmahan ko yung impeachment ni GMA. Kaya pinapaliwanag ko sa iyo na pare, pasensya ka na. Kahit personally kaibigan kita, hindi ako pwede magbago ng role ko dito sa Senado just because magkaibigan tayo. Kaya sabi ko, di ba, pag kayo sumagot, pagbibigyan namin lahat. Mr. President, remember, hindi po sila sumagot kaagad. Kung sila po ay sumagot at naniwala ang tao sa sagot o logical yung sagot, wala tayong problema eh. Ang problema, September pa nag-umpisa yun, ngayon lang sila sumasagot, Mr. President. Kaya ang tinatanong ko po, nag-iba ba si Alan Cayetano sa lahat ng hearing? Si Senator Jinggoy po mismo, the gentleman from San Juan, kung paano tanungin si General Ligot, sinabi niya, sa korte ko na lang sasagutin yon. Ano sabi po ni Senator Estrada? Hindi, dito nyo sagutin yan. Si General Garcia, sabi po, nasa korte na po yan, I have the right to remain silent. O ano sabi niya? May amnesia ka pala. Ganun din po kay General Reyes. So ano pong gustong gawin po ng gentleman from San Juan? Na panibasa, kasama ko siya dito sa Senado, pagdating po ni Benhur dito, pagdating po ni Secretary Leila, pagdating po ni Miss Tuason, ang ine-expect niya, uupo na lang ako doon, tititigan ko na lang. Ano sinasabi sa akin? Tignan niyo po yung Facebook ko. Tignan niyo po yung email ko. Tinatanong po ng mga kababayan. Mga senador, tatahimik na lang ba kayo dahil kasama? Pare-pareho ba kayo? Ninakaw niyo ba talaga pork barrel? How many times have I posted and have I made a statement, give them the chance to answer? So let me go to the next point, Mr. President.
If I may explain, with your
Go ahead,
permission,
Mr. President.
Doon po sa una niya sinabi na pumirma siya sa impeachment laban sa tatay ko. Pumirma siya impeachment laban kay GMA. Ninong daw niya si first gentleman, if my memory serves me right. Mr. President, unang-una, hindi ko naman sinasabing pagtanggol mo ko. Hindi ako humihingi ng tulong. Kahit sino dito sa Senado. Kahit kay Senate President. Never ako humingi ng tulong. Never ako humingi ng tulong sa'yo, Senator Cayetano. Never ako humingi ng tulong. Kahit sa sarili kong kapatid, hindi po ako humingi ng tulong. Kahit kay Senator Marcos, kahit sino rito, wala po ako hininga na tulong. Dahil sa pagkakalam ko, malinis po ang aking konsensya at wala po akong ninakaw kahit isang kusing dito sa ating bansa. And I can defend myself in court. Kahit malapit ako, kahit kaibigan ko si Presidente Aquino, I did not even bother to seek his help. You can even ask him. The most powerful person in the land. Hindi po ako humingi ng tulong. Hindi rin po ako humingi ng tulong kay Vice President Jejo Marbinay. I never asked. Ang hiningan ko lang ng tulong, yung aking abogado, natural. Sila magdedepensa sa akin sa husgado, kung sakasakali. Kahit yung mga magagaling na abogado rito, na alam kong magagaling ang mga abogado rito, wala po ako hiningan na tulong. We are entitled, Mr. President, to presumption of innocence. But if we review yung mga sinasabi ng ating mga kapwa-senador, parang guilty na ho kami sa mata ng publiko. Even the media, yung mga ibang kolumnista, share my own opinion na hindi na in aid of legislation to eh. In aid of 2016 na ito eh. Please,
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, binanggit ko po yung pagpirma ko sa impeachment kay President Estrada, President Arroyo, yung pagsasalita ko dito. Nung ginawa ko po yun, hindi pa popular ang pag-impeach kay President Estrada. In fact, hanggang pag-alis niya, napaka-popular pa rin niya sa masa. Nung ako po'y pumirma kay President Arroyo, hindi pa ganun kapopular yung pagpapaalis sa kanya. Ha? Grabe pa rin ang suporta niya during that time. So gusto ko lang po ipakita na hindi po totoo na pagpapasikat ang ginagawa natin dito. This is the search for the truth. Kaya lang may double standard nga. Pag yung ibang witness nandyan, walang presumption of innocence. Pag ibang witness nandito sa Senado, baliwala sa atin mga senador pag sinabing trial by publicity. No? That's why I will go to my next point, yung sinasabing trial by publicity. But let me communicate this to the good senator, the gentleman from San Juan, Mr. President. Oo nga po, hindi ka humingi ng tulong sa akin. Pero binabanatan mo naman kami pag ginagawa namin trabaho namin. Di ganun din yon. Parang humingi ka ng tulong sa amin, Mr. President, na parang sinasabi nyo, tumahimik na lang kayo. Kasi ang trabaho ko, bilang isang anti-graft advocate, bilang isa sa good governance, kahit anong issue ng graft and corruption na lumabas, magsasalita ako. Nung dati, tuwan-tuwa si Vice President, nasalita ako ng salita, tumatawag pa yun. Sasabihin pa niya, banatan mo iho. Tama yan, tanungin mo. Ngayon na siya tinatanong ko, banat lang daw ako ng banat, tanong ako ng tanong. So Mr. President, you are taking it against me that in the hearings I participated. You are taking it against me na sa media, nagsasalita ako. And isn't that asking for help? So, if you're not asking for help, Mr. President, why are you taking it against us that we're doing our job? The only thing I did is to treat you like how we treat anyone else, not to give you special attention because you're a senator. So are we saying now, Mr. President, you want me to give you special attention?
No,
you want me to be quiet?
No. I'm not
Well, why are you,
to do that.
if that's the case, Mr. President, then bakit pag sa iba nating ginawa, hindi mo sinasabing nagpapasikat, pero ngayon papasikat may 2016 pa.
Ikaw, Ginoong Pangulo, Mr. President, pag ikaw naman nagpapa-interview sa media at binabanatan mo ang kapwa mo, Senador, natural lang, bilang isang colleague, o bilang isang naakusahan, o bilang isang pinatutukuyan sa iyong mga interview sa media, natural lang, nasasagot ako. Kailangan ko i-depensa ng sarili ko. Ano ako, mananahimik na lang? Uupo na lang at magdadasal? Hindi naman ako ganun. If you want to choose your battle, I will give you your battle. Oh.
I agree. But I'm saying is that you did not stop there eh.
What do you mean I
Pareho
did not
kayo
stop
ni
there?
Vice
What do you,
President
no, I disagree. What
You
do you
did not
mean I
stop
did
there.
not stop
I
there?
will answer it, Mr. President.
Yeah, we have order, please, order.
Mr. President, this is what I mean that he didn't stop there. First of all, everyone knows na lumabas yung na-policy issue, they kept quiet. And lahat tayo
I
nagsuffer.
did not keep quiet, Mr.
When we
Senator.
started, well, you had blanket denials. Sinabi mo lang, kilala ko yan, pero wala. Politika lang yan, etc. Until now, you have not answered magkano sa pork barrel ang nilagay mo doon. Na-deliver ba yan o hindi? Ghost ba yan o hindi? So, but let me continue, Mr. President. You did not stop there by just answering the issue. You are accusing me, and you were accusing me kanina that I'm using this for 2016.
I stand firm by my statements.
So you went beyond than just answering.
No.
You want special treatment, Mr. President,
No,
because anyone who stands here na colleague mo at sasagot, Mr. President, at magbibigay ng opinion, kung laban sa kanila opinion, ang tingin niya, ginagamit lang for 2016. Pero kung siya magtatanong kay General Ligot, kay General Garcia, kung si Vice President gaganunin si Delphine Lee, at tama na ganunin niya si Delphine Lee. Pero pag si Jinggoy Estrada ang ginanon niya, 2016 din ang ginagawa ni Vice President. Pag nagsalita siya laban sa inyo. Ganun ang suma, Mr. President. But let me go to the next point. Sabi po nila trial by publicity. Is there trial by publicity? How can there be trial by publicity? Wasn't it filed in court? Are you saying, Mr. President, that anyone accused in the country, kapag ka nagkaroon ng press release o ang DOJ nagkaroon ng press con, o kaya kung ang hearing naka-live, is that already trial by publicity? Because, Mr. President, let me state for the record, my understanding of trial by publicity is that nililitis mo sa media pero hindi mo pinapailan ng kaso. Hindi mo nilalagyan ng COA report. Hindi ka nag-hearing sa Blue Ribbon. Pero, kung meron publicity na nangyayari because of the cases filed, because of the COA report, that is not trial by publicity. Why does the Vice President and Senator Estrada keep saying there's trial by publicity? He is a public figure. Artista nga lang po, nanampal lang sa isang club eh. 'Di ba? Nandun na sa dyaryo lahat. Artista po na may bagong pag-ibig dahil nag-split na sila nung boyfriend niya at may bago. Ginagawa 'yon. Nagkahiwalay na artista. Basta't celebrity po tayo, may utang tayo sa tao magpaliwanag, Mr. President. So nung lumabas yung COA report na bilyong-bilyong pisong nawawala, hindi ba dapat sagutin natin? So may I know from the gentleman from San Juan, why he's accusing everyone, even the media, for trial by publicity, when in fact he is a public figure? These funds are funds allocated to his office. Do people not deserve an answer, Mr. President?
Una-una, Ginoong Pangulo, if I may, ano ba nangyayari ngayon? Hindi ka naman bulag, Senator Cayetano. Nagbabasa ka naman ng dyaryo araw-araw. Nakikinig ka naman sa radyo araw-araw. Meron kang internet, meron kang Facebook. Ako, wala ako nun. Wala naman akong account nun. Hindi naman ako marunong mag-Facebook. Tingnan mo anong nangyayari sa kapaligiran natin ngayon. Simula nung Hulyo, nung nakarang taon, hanggang sa kasalukuyan, wala pa ngang kaso, hindi pa inaakyat sa Sandigan Bayan. Ito na. Panay condemnation na, parang kinukrucify na kami ng taong bayan. Of course, tapos dadagdagan pa ninyo rito sa Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, dito sa Senate. Para na kaming mga magnanakaw na tuluyan. Parang katulad nga na sinabi ko sa akin talumpati, we have been the epitome of corrupt public officials in their desire to convict us. Halos lahat na. Yung public opinion, masama kami. Ano pang ginagawa? Di ba trial by publicity lahat yan? Hindi pa nga kami, wala pa nga kaming benefit sa husgado. We have not been given a day in court. Pero ano na lumalabas sa mga dyaryo? Magnanakaw si Enrile, magnanakaw si Estrada, magnanakaw si Revilla. Ganun po lumalabas. Tapos pinalalabas nyo rito, ang yayabang nyo, nag-grandstanding kayo rito. Ano ba naman yan? Hindi pa ba trial by publicity yan?
Mr. President, let me reiterate. Trial by publicity is when you are being accused in the media, in public, and you want to be tried there and not in the courts. May final na po na kaso sa ombudsman. Pangalawa po, lahat ng pagkakataon para sila'y sumagot and for them to sway public opinion to their side ay nasa kanila. Pangatlo po, magkasama po kami ni Senator Jinggoy. Magkasama kami ng Vice President, nagmamarcha sa kalye at sinasabing GMA sumagot ka. So ibig po ba sabihin natin ngayon, yung ginawa natin noon, trial by publicity yon? Araw-araw tayo na sa television noon, fertilizer scam, paggamit ng PhilHealth sa 24 election, Hello Garci. Araw-araw po tayo noon. O let's move back to more recent events.
Sandali lang,
Mr. President, let me just finish this line. No? Gaano po kadalas si Senator Estrada na nasa television tungkol sa mga taga-DFA na imbis na tulungan ang ating mga kababayan sa abroad, ay nire-rape o binubugaw pa. So ibig niyo po ba sabihin, yun ay trial by publicity dahil may hearing ka na, may press con ka pa, may press release ka pa. Wala pa namang kaso sa kanila eh. So that's what I'm pointing out, Mr. President. Bakit tayo may double standard? Pag ibang tao ang hinahabol at tinitira natin, hindi natin sinasabing trial by publicity. Pero pag tayo na yung akusado, imbis na sumagot tayo sa media, Mr. President, imbis na buksan natin ang ating sarili, ang mangyayari, i-accuse pa natin lahat ng trial by publicity. Put it on the record, Mr. President, he is accusing us of using this. And I'm denying that. We're not using it. I'm acting like I always act in any hearing, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I still stand by my statement that we are being tried by publicity, Mr. President. We have already been judged as guilty by our people.
Mr. President,
Yes?
just for the record, in the case of Estrada versus Desierto, the Supreme Court said that when the prosecution says that the case is strong, that is not trial by publicity and does not affect presumption of innocence, Mr. President, because you expect the prosecution to say that the case is strong. So why are we being taken at fault? We are always asked our opinion. Tinanong po ako kay Ben Harloy, ang sabi ko, mukhang matindi at mukhang binibigay niya lahat at mukhang sinasabi. Tinanong ako kay Ruby Tuason, sabi ko parang may tinatago. Tinanong ako kay Mr. Cunanan, sinabi ko rin yung opinion ko. Di ba? Hindi na nga ako nagtanong nung huling beses kasi nakita ko nga may inconsistencies.
Baka hindi ka nagtanong dahil nahiya ka na.
Hindi, Mr. President. Nandito po ako noon at hindi po ako nahiya kasi tama ginagawa ko. Ang dapat po mahiya, yung mali ang ginagawa nila. Yung tama ang ginagawa, wala dapat ikahiya, Mr. President. So let me go to the next point.
Excuse me, Mr. President, if I may. Ikaw ba, tama ba yung mga tanong mo nakarang hearing? You're capitalized on always mentioning tanda and sexy.
Sir President,
pagtatanong ba yun o pangungutya na sa amin ni Senator Enrile?
Mr. President,
okay lang, kung sexy, walang problema. Oh.
Sir President, I think mali po ang napanood ng Ginoog na galing sa San Juan. Tinanong ko po kasi sila dahil ayaw bigay ni Secretary Leila, ayaw po pasalitay ng pangalan. So tinanong ko, may code ba kayo, may nickname kayo, etc. Sinabi meron, binigay yung pangalan. Katabi ko po si Senator Escudero. Sabi sa akin ni Senator Escudero, tanungin mo kung sino yan. Wala akong malay. Yung tanda, with all due respect, no, naman po, because meron po tayong senior senator dito. Pero yung sexy, etc., no offense, Senator Jinggoy, I wouldn't think that that's you, eh. No?
Okay.
No, I thought it was a woman.
Order, please. Order.
Mr. President,
Order.
I mean, I know you're an action star. I know maraming may crush sa'yo, etc. But sa akin kasi, pag sinabing sexy, babae ang isip ko, wala namang nababanggit na babaeng senador sa lahat ng to. No? So, if you review the tapes, Mr. President, kung babalikan mo yung hearing na yon, after that, ang tinanong ko lang, anong floor, etc. I did not capitalize, even sa media, hindi ko na inulit yung nicknames na yan or anything. So, you know, I know it is an emotional issue for you, Mr. President. And for the record, Mr. President, I went up to Senator Enrile and apologized because I did not think it was fair to him yung tanda if Senator Enrile remembers that. But hindi po ganun yung pangyayari. Yung pagkakwento po ni Senator Estrada, hindi ganun. Tinanong ko, may code name ba kayo? May nickname dyan. And then pagkatapos, nung binulong sa akin, tanungin mo ko sino yun, tinanong ko. Then I stopped there, Mr. President. Hindi na ako, baka ibang senador yung nagtanong nun, pero hindi na ako yung nagtanong nun.
Mr. President, alam ko hindi naman matalino na naman itong kasama kong majority floor leader eh. Bago naman lumabas yung bago yung committee hearing na yan, kung saan nagsabi ka ng tanda at sexy, lumabas na sa mga pahayagan yan eh. Meron pa nga daw sinasabing diary na si Pogi, si Tanda, si Pogi, si Senator Revilla, si Tanda, si Senator Enrile, at ako raw si Sexy. Pwede bang hindi mo malaman yun? Dati, nung magkakasama tayo dito, sobra taba ko eh. Nung pumayat ako, natural lang naging sexy ako. Yun din naman sinabi ni, ni Ben Harloy. Ngayon, hindi mo akalain na sexy ako.
Hindi ko po akalain na sexy ka. Hindi ko akalain na yun ang code o nickname allegedly sa inyo. But having said that, I'm speaking the truth, Mr. President. I did not know that. But let me go to my last 2 points.
Ngayon, alam mo na sexy ako. Physically.
Sexiness is like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder, Mr. President. Mr. President.
Order, please, order.
Let me go to the next point, special court. May I ask the good gentleman if he has heard my whole proposal or ang akalain ba niya ay ang proposal ko para sa PDAF lang?
What I heard from the news report, Mr. President, is that you wanted to create, or you suggested a creation of a special court to try and hear the cases of PDAF, of the PDAF cases, for speedy resolution. Kaya nga kinontra ko eh. Paano siya nakakapag-isip na speedy resolution of the cases? There is only one time in the history of our judicial system na nagtayo o nag-create ng special division ang Sandigan Bayan, handpicked by the Supreme Court. That was in the case. That was the plunder case of former President Estrada and myself. It took them 6.5 years to try the plunder case against my father and myself. And now you want a speedy disposition of this case by creating a special division or creating a special court to hear the cases of PDAF na kinasasangkutan namin tatlo, ni Senator Enrile at ni Senator Revilla. Abutin tayo ng siyam-siyam. Ako rin, gusto ko malaman ng katotohanan. Yun ang Pangulo. I don't want this case lingering on hanggang tumanda ako. Ayoko nung ganoon. Gusto ko matapos na. I want to prove my innocence, Mr. President.
Well, Mr. President, let me repeat my proposal. Then I will give the floor to Senator Estrada if he doesn't think it's good. But at the very least, I think he will not think that it's for politics. Okay? I will rewind lang, Mr. President.
I will respect your opinion in creating
yes, that nilalagyan niyo po kasi ng kulay eh. 'Di ba?
May kulay ba kung sa sinabi ko, Ginoong Pangulo?
Ang sabi niyo po, ginagamit sa politika, ngayon gusto pang pabilisan. At sabi naman ng Vice President, papogi lang itong para pabilisin, etc. No?
So, can the gentleman on the floor address?
Yes, sorry, Mr. President. I apologize to Senator.
If I may, can you please, I'm trying to suggest or advise the Senator, the Majority Floor Leader, to please avoid mentioning the name of the Vice President. Wala naman siya kinalaman dito. Panay, gusto niya.
No, Mr. President.
Banggitin si Vice President.
Mr. President, I will refrain from naming him, but please let's not say na wala siyang kilalaman because nag-statement siya. Ang sabi niya, number 1, dad yung ebidensya nung kay Ms. Ruby Tuason, and then he corrected himself. Trial by publicity, which is exactly what the gentleman from San Juan is saying. Then number 3, tinanong siya, what moral support are you giving? Sabi niya, I'm praying the truth shall come out. So nagtaka tuloy ako, anong truth shall come out? Ilang buwan na yung mga truth lumalabas. So may alam ba ang Vice Presidente na hindi natin alam? Does he believe you're innocent because you gave him a reason na kami hindi alam? I want to know. Because if you're innocent, I want to be in your side. But if not, Mr. President, kahit magkaibigan tayo, but let me go forth, no?
That is his opinion, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. President. That's why ito po yung proposal. In 1996, my father was Chief Presidential Counsel. And grabe po ang heinous crimes noon. So nung nag-usap po ang executive at judiciary nag-issue po ng administrative order si Chief Justice Narvasa. Ang sabi niya, pag heinous crimes, 60 days to try the case, 30 days afterwards to decide. And you cannot add cases to these special courts for heinous crimes if it will affect the time frame to decide. Ano po nangyari between 96 and 2004? Within 6 months to 1 year, tapos yung mga dating 4, 5, 6 na taon. Case number 1. Case number 2, extrajudicial killing. Case number 3, environmental cases. The Supreme Court has created special courts for this. Case number 4, Ampatuan Massacre. 2011, tinignan, halos walang nangyayari, hindi inuusad. Ano sabi ng Supreme Court? Okay, gawin natin special court to. Hindi kayo pwede magtanggap ng ibang kaso. So ano po sabi ko sa proposal ko? Let us re-establish 2 kinds of special courts. Number 1 for heinous crimes, RTC po ito. Dahil yun ang jurisdiction. No public funds involved, no legislation, kayang gawin kagad ng Supreme Court. Number 2, sa Sandigan Bayan. And there are 2 things that they can do. They can say 1 or 2 divisions, pag plunder or kapag graft and corruption involving 50 million and above, everyday trial. And when I say everyday, that is 2 or 3 days a week lang. Because Friday is motion day and kailangan may ibang kaso din silang hawakan. Okay? Or the second option is yung ginawa in cases of, katulad nung kay President Estrada, magra-raffle. Pero kukuha ng 3 justices for a special division and they have to finish the case. By the way, where did this come from? Because may study po ang World Bank na bringing up ng dating Ombudsman Marcelo at kung hindi ako nagkakamali, nagbunsad din sa ating Senate President to file the amendment sa Sandigan Bayan. What does this study say? Average 9.5 years for an ordinary case. Meaning, Mr. President, if you were accused and you were in jail and you're innocent, pero plunder siya, so non-bailable, kawawa ka naman kung 20 taong ka nakakulong. Kahit nasabihin not guilty after 20 years, sa kakapalang pakakawalan. Kaya sabi ko, sino nga angal na pabilisin yung kaso? Binanggit ko po yung kaso ng inyong ama, na it took almost 6 years. Samantalang special division na yon. Kung hindi special division yon, Mr. President, baka 10 o 15 years yon. So after saying all of this, tell me, saan ang politika doon? Hindi ba problema natin ang mabagal na hustisya? At hindi ba maganda naman yung proposal ko? Hindi natin pinag-uusapan, PDAF lang dito. Pinag-uusapan natin lahat ng plunder at lahat ng kaso ng graft and corruption above 50 million and lahat ng heinous crimes. I am like you trying to find solutions to our problems. So now kung mas sexy sa mga journalists na ilagay, no, na eto'y sa PDAF because it will grab people's attention, no, if it is more provocative. But then tignan niyo yung laman ng article. So nakalagay, Cayetano wants everyday hearings for PDAF. Pero tignan niyo po yung laman. Ang sabi niya, he wants special criminal court for certain cases, for etc., ganyan. So, Mr. President, paano naging pamumulitika? Hindi ba magandang proposal naman to? But yet, I was sitting here listening to your speech at dinagdag mo sa speech mo. Meron pa nga dyan eh. Di ba? Sa pamumulitika, etc. Gustong sakyan, magpapabango para sa 2016. I don't intend to run and win in 2016 with this case, Mr. President. Sa plataforma at programa. Pero ito isang solusyon sa isang problema natin. So I'll give back the floor, Mr. President, and I will respect his opinion, but I think it's a good idea. I'm hoping the Supreme Court thinks it's a good idea. But this is not just for the PDAF. This is for all cases of such nature, Mr. President.
Well, thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. I respect your opinion, but I still maintain my stand that if you create or if you suggest the creation of a special court to hear the cases involving the PDAF senators, if I may call it, it will take, I think, 6 or 10 years for them to solve this case because, as I've told you, Mr. President, nangyari na. Nagkaroon na ng president, nagkaroon na ng special court sa history ng judiciary to try the plunder case against my father. And what happened? Again, it took 6.5 long years for them to act on the matter. Kaya ako naniniwala po ako I hope you respect my opinion, Mr. Senator, or Mr. Majority Floor Leader, na itong mga special courts o special division na gusto mong imungkahi, this will not help. I mean, this will not help speeding up the disposition of cases. And that's my own opinion. I'm sorry, I'm not a lawyer like you are. You are a brilliant lawyer, I suppose, Mr. President. But that is my opinion. I respect your opinion, Mr. President. And I'm glad you have categorically said that you will run for the presidency. And that bolsters my belief na talagang yung mga nag-aambisyon dyan ng mga senador, yung mga re-electionista, talagang ginagamit lang itong forum natin para sa kanilang personal na interest sa Ginoong Pangulo.
Mr. President, I have not declared that I'm running for president. I have simply stated the obvious, that each senator, each barangay captain, each vice president, each congressman wants to be president someday. But it's really up to God and our people kung time mo na at kung dapat para sa'yo. So I take exception to the point na ginagamit ito because the Alan that you see today is the Alan that you saw in 2005, in 2001, in 1992 when I was a municipal councilor. But Mr. President, let me just say this. Sa Sandigan Bayan po ngayon, may 3,000 kaso. 5 lang po ang division. 600 cases po yan per division. Ibig sabihin, wag na sila mag-Holy Week, wag na mag-Sabado at Linggo, wag na mag-Pasko. No? 2 kaso, isang araw ang gawin nila. Once a year lang pwede nila i-hearing yung kaso. So kung hindi ka magkakaroon ng pagbabago either through legislation or the proposal I said, walang mangyayari. Yung kay President Estrada natapos ng 5.5 or 6 years precisely because it was a special division. If it wasn't a special division, 15 years yan, 20 years. Doon pa lang ho ha, wala pa ho yung appeal to the Supreme Court. No? So anyway, Mr. President, he respected my decision. I'll also respect his decision. And instead of asking more questions, I'm tempted to ask a couple of questions no more about the pork barrel, where is it, etc. May I just state for the record, Mr. President, the floor is open, the public deserves an answer, and your speeches are more than welcome, Mr. President. But to brand your colleagues as media hungry or using this is not only unfair, no? It sweeps as a parang ano, Mr. President kasi pag sinagot mo ng politika lang yan, 2016 lang yan, mga kasama ko, etc., hindi yun ang akusasyon sa inyo eh. Ang akusasyon kasi sa inyo, alam nyo kung saan napunta ang pera at may nakuha kayo. Sagutin nyo na lang diretso sa tao. Para nga, kung nagsasabi kayo ng totoo at inosente kayo, I'm sure maniniwala tao. Pero pagka nililihis natin, dinadala natin sa iba, Mr. President, hindi tayo matatapos. Pagbalik natin sa Mayo, kung may bagong witness, eto na naman. Kung i-file man o hindi i-file ng ombudsman, ganito na naman tayo. Kung may committee report man o wala, hindi na ganito naman mangyayari. So I meant what I told you in the lounge, Mr. President, the gentleman from San Juan. On a personal level, believe it or not, I consider him as friend. But we're in public service eh. And let me put this on record. If ever may issue sa akin, o issue sa kapatid ko, o issue sa kahit sino sa aming Cayetano, and it involves graft and corruption, I will not take it against you if you tell me sagutin ko. I will not take it against you if i-grill mo ako dito, i-cross-examine mo ako. I will take it against you if I defend myself, give you the facts, if I'm reasonable, if I tell you everything and you don't believe me. But Mr. President, give us something naman. Dahil hindi rin nyo naman pinapaliwanag eh. Magkano yon, saan napunta, bakit nilagay nyo na nilagay doon, kahit na parang questionable yung delivery, etc. So, Mr. President, let me end there and thank the gentleman for this opportunity to at least give my side. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. May I just respond, Mr. President, quickly?
You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Doon sa sinasabi po ni Senator Cayetano, na paulit-ulit ko po sinasabi, nasasagutin ko lahat ang mga akusasyon laban sa amin sa tamang oras at sa tamang pagkakataon. Hindi po ito yung tamang pagkakataon. Hindi po ang Blue Ribbon Committee ang tamang venue, the proper forum is in the courts, Mr. President. At saka yung sinasabi mo, magkano nakuha, saan nalagay, bakit para endorso sa isang medyo, nandun na po yan sa counter affidavit ko na final ko po sa ombudsman. That is a public document. You can search for it, you can get a copy, you can request from the ombudsman. No problem with me. Sinagot ko na po lahat yan. But I will not defend myself here. I will defend myself in the proper court, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. President, Senator Enrile, the Minority Leader, Senator
Senator
Enrile.
Enrile is recognized.
Mr. President, I just want to make a manifestation. A while ago, before the opening of the session, the chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee, Senator Gingona, wrote me a letter to asking me if I have any document or material that I want to be inserted into the record of the Blue Ribbon proceedings. So I instructed my staff to submit to the Blue Ribbon Committee my affidavit, counter affidavit, because that will explain everything that I should have said here if I were in the hearing of the Blue Ribbon Committee. Because precisely I did not make any statement up to now regarding the case, because as a lawyer, I have my own strategy in defending myself. This involves my freedom. And I've been in trial all my life. As a lawyer, I know what I'm doing. So anyone who is interested to find out my view about the whole case, point by point, then they are welcome to read my counter affidavit. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Enrile. The Majority Leader is recognized.
Mr. President, I'd like to thank the gentleman from San Juan for the gentlemanly gesture of coming over, and we shook hands. I am asking him now where I should refer this privilege speech, because precisely the Blue Ribbon Committee is part of his speech. And as chairman of the Committee on Rules, I cannot also refer to the Committee on Rules because I am part of his speech.
Do we have to refer it to any committee?
My proposal, with the permission of the gentleman who delivered the speech, is that we hold in abeyance the
Referral.
the referral. Anyway, I think he wanted to put it on public record, and I think the public was able to hear his statement, Mr. President.
All right.
Mr. President, may I ask for a minute suspension?
Suspended for 1 minute.
Mr. President.
Session is resumed.
Mr. President, in line with the letter of the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 10 March 2014 it passed House Bill number 4084 entitled An Act Granting Philippine Citizenship to Andre Blatch, which was earlier referred to the Committee on Justice and Human Rights. I move to transfer from the Committee on Rules to the Committee on Justice and Human Rights Senate Bill number 2108 entitled An Act Granting Philippine Citizenship to Andre Blatch. This was filed by Senator Juan Edgardo Sani Angara, Mr. President. I so move.
The bill is so referred as moved by the Majority Leader.
Mr. President, for the record, we are not taking up Senate Bill number 27 under Committee Report number 19, picture-based health warning, and also the reforms in the Sandigan Bayan, because some members asked for some time for their questions and possible amendments, but we will take it up on May 5th and 6th and 7th as soon as we get back from the break, Mr. President. And before we adjourn, Mr. President, as our tradition dictates, it's always a pleasure to greet a happy birthday to our colleagues. And although they are not here right now, on March 14, Senator Gringo Nasan will be celebrating his birthday. And on March 22, Senator Pia Cayetano. So we'd just like to put on the record the greetings of all the senators. Mr. President, I move that we adjourn the session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, May 5, 2014.
Session is adjourned until 3 p.m. of Monday, May 5, 2014.